All right, guys. Oscar here, and I'm with Tom Epler, and we're at the Dilly.
CB Dilly Hemp Farm.
CB Dilly Hemp Farm. And Tom is my brother-in-law, and we've known each other for years. This would be something years ago that I would never have thought that we would be talking about, and the fact that you're just about ready to harvest your first acre of hemp.
Year and a half ago, this wouldn't have even crossed my mind.
Yeah.
And in, well, probably end of next week, we'll be starting first of 2 acres.
2 acres.
2 acres. We've got 2 acres in.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, you know, like you said, this is kind of a new leaf, so to speak, for the farm. I think people would be very interested on what, you know, because you're not a typical cannabis consumer. You know, you're not. This is not something where it's really, it's a farm crop, and you're taking it in that direction. What got you into this side?
Well, in college, in the fraternity, there was a lot of kids that smoked, and was never one of those. But we started, when you brought it up last year after the nursery show, started looking more and more into it. Decided to take the leap in December, after meeting a couple times with the seed supplier. And once we took the leap and I started doing a lot of research into it. I have to be completely honest, it was the finances that really was surprising to me. But now that we've gotten more and more into it, it's going to be very interesting on the medicinal side.
Yeah.
When we first planted, I sent a Facebook message to one of the fraternity brothers saying that I have to tuck my tail from the whole cannabis thing from college, because it was not my thing, didn't understand it. But no, right now this is a working farm, and we're not looking to do any of the THC. There's so many other farms, groups that are doing the THC, the cannabis, that we want to specifically target this one.
I think that's amazing, and I think the timing is perfect, being that a lot more information. You get the Sanjay Gupta reports and all these things talking about the effectiveness of CBD. And I think it's awesome in Oregon that they're letting the agriculturally grown CBD-derived hemp get brought into the OLCC side, so the medicinal aspects can be brought into, like the recreational cannabis or the medicinal cannabis. And then on the other side, the CBD for pets and things. It really just opens up a lot of avenues having this available.
It does. And the fact that it was, I think it was last week, it came out that industrial hemp right now falls under the right to farm law in Oregon. So counties cannot regulate where people put industrial hemp.
That's great.
It is now a specific Oregon agricultural crop.
Yeah.
In a few years, it might become one of the top 5 ag crops, just in terms of sheer revenue.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to take long to surpass some of the, it's going to take a while to surpass the hay and the cattle and dairy and stuff like that, but over some of the smaller seed crops, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, if I would love to see a bill pushed through where toilet paper has to be made with hemp. Why are we using lumber? Why are we using wood for something that's so disposable? And I see things along those lines where the usefulness of this as a base commodity, along with all the other ancillary things.
I'd love for companies to start doing research, to enable farmers to get the true old style industrial hemp for rope and the fiber and concrete, or the hempcrete, stuff like that, with sterile pollen, so that they could put that crop in 90, 200, 500 acres, and have 5 acres of the CBD oil crop right next to it and not have to worry that that one's all going to become pollinated.
And I think you're so far ahead of the curve, and I would say for my cannabis growing friends on the rec side, that's a breath of fresh air, because the pollen, in some countries there's an actual weather forecast for the pollen from the cannabis. The pollen is so bad and it travels so long, and that hemp pollen getting into a female recreational or medicinal cannabis plant completely changes the whole structure, and once it's seeded, it's really not commercially viable.
Mm-hmm.
So having sterile pollen eventually would be a huge thing, and like you said, being able to grow both your 3-inch by 3-inch just stacked and racked row hemp,
Your row crop,
yeah,
right
and then
next
your
to
more
your
bushy.
Yes.
That'd be great.
In fact, that's kind of where we were looking at going. Keeping the CBD, keeping those fields going, but looking at more of the row crop, field crop, for the fiber, obviously, ethanol purposes.
Mm-hmm.
There's an ethanol refinery over in Boardman, and since you can't cross state lines with the raw product, anything made with hemp ethanol has to come from Oregon.
Oh wow, interesting.
So there's a huge market if that refinery wanted to get into it.
Yeah.
I do believe that locally grown hemp ethanol would be a big seller in Oregon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, especially for kind of the Oregonian style of thought process.
Yes. They could charge anything they wanted if they wanted to sell in Eugene.
Right.
But
so they're not green-necks, they're rednecks, they're green-necks.
Green-necks, yeah. But I was talking to a couple different farmers, and they said that if you decide to do that true row crop, field crop in Western Oregon, you'll become the most unpopular person in the state.
Yeah.
That crop is made more for Eastern Oregon. People that will take out hay fields.
Yeah.
Use that as a transitional crop. Something that you won't worry about the pollen, because the pollen's not going to cross the Cascades.
Yeah, no, you're not going to have to worry about any of that.
They're not going to have to worry about that. But he said that it's extremely irresponsible to do it in the Willamette Valley, which I completely understand that.
It's really cool that's the consideration is being made.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole of Oregon can benefit from the legalization of cannabis and hemp.
Oh yeah.
So one last thing, did you actually go and see a hemp field being harvested?
Never have.
Never have.
Never have.
If we ever get a chance, we'll have to throw a camera on that. That'd be interesting.
It will.
Well,
yes.
We're going to go out to the field here in a bit and see the plants. Anything else that you'd like to add from kind of the farm aspect of this?
Since this is the farm and nursery, there's been a lot of nurseries that have gotten into the CBD because we all have the smaller tractors, we all have the labor force to assist in planting.
Yeah.
Most nurseries already have the drip irrigation systems.
Yeah.
So especially as a transitional crop, from removing all your plants one year, putting in hemp, you could honestly put in hemp and use that money to pay for your next entire crop for 3-4 years.
Wow.
So you've got that aspect, and I see a lot of nurseries, especially at the last show.
Yeah. You're talking like literally in a 12-month period, aren't you?
Yeah. No, honestly, you take the last pine out of the field in March, work it up June 1st, have the hemp plants in the ground, and so next spring you're ready to plant again.
Well, no, that's awesome, Tom. Thanks.
Yeah.